We are live, so when mics are on.
Oh, lights are on, y'all. Miss Carrie says that for me.
Yeah.
We always say, okay, is it on or not?
Okay, whenever you're ready, we're live. Roll call, please, Carrie. Jet White. Jose Arenas.
Here.
Martin Cazada.
Here.
Susan Sarin.
Here.
Hilda Ortega Rosales.
Here.
Allegra. Joel. And Mariah. There being 4 members, there is a quorum.
Thank you, Carrie. So we're calling this regular meeting of February 27, 2024 to order. Can I have a motion to adopt the agenda as presented?
I'll make a motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
You got it, Jose.
Oh.
Any discussion? Carrie, roll call, please.
Jet White. Jose Arenas.
Yes.
Martin Cazada. Susan Sarin.
Yes.
Hilda Ortega Rosales.
Yes.
There being 4 in favor, the motion carries.
Thank you. Okay, if our student board members could please lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, Dr. Cruz, would you like to welcome and introduce our Be Recognized winners for February and March of 2024?
Yes, good evening, Madam President, esteemed board members, student board members, cabinet, and the community. It is such a pleasure to get to celebrate some of our colleagues this evening. We are actually going to start off with 2 of our colleagues who weren't able to be here tonight, and then we'll have you all come in front of the dais to celebrate our colleagues that were able to make it. All right? So first, we're going to start with Marlon Leyva, 5th grade teacher at Copper King Elementary. She's fabulous. She just wasn't able to be here this evening, but we do want to congratulate her for being a Be Recognized Award winner, not only for her exceptional teaching, but also for her remarkable humanity. Marlon goes above and beyond to ensure her students have the necessary materials for engaging and enjoyable learning experiences. Her students hold her in high regard, expressing deep affection for her. Beyond her effectiveness in the classroom, Ms. Leyva's kindness, grace, and integrity leave a lasting impact on everyone she encounters, especially her young students. She approaches her profession with enthusiasm, embracing new teaching methods and district programs in math and science. With a positive outlook and a commitment to continuous learning through professional development, Ms. Leyva sets a sterling example for her colleagues and students. All right, she is awesome. We should clap for her, even though she's not here. She might be watching on Facebook. I hope she's watching on Facebook. She's great. She's great. We're super lucky to have her with us. And the next person that we're going to celebrate is Paige Trenowich, school counselor at Westwind Elementary, and I would like to apologize to her for my butchering of her last name. So Paige is the counselor at Westwind Elementary, one of them, and she exemplifies the essence of the Be Recognized Award through her exceptional dedication and unwavering support for students and staff. Beyond her official duties, Paige ensures a sense of safety, respect, and values that pervade through the whole school community. Her adept communication skills make her a trusted ally for those seeking guidance, and her selflessness fosters a nurturing environment where everyone feels heard and at ease. Her unparalleled passion for her work leaves a lasting impact on both students and staff, enriching the district immensely. Paige's remarkable commitment and compassion truly merits this recognition. Congratulations, Paige, on this well-deserved recognition. And do you want to join us here in front of the dais now for the other 2 folks who were able to make it this evening? All right, so our next Be Recognized award is going to be given to Ronnie Restio, our custodian and general helper at Amberlea. Ronnie, come on down. Ronnie is a well-deserving recipient of the Be Recognized Award for his exceptional dedication to serving others. His unwavering willingness to assist, always accompanied by a warm smile, set him apart as an outstanding human being and employee. His exemplary attitude towards the community reflects positively on our whole school district. Described by peers as a beacon of happiness, joy, and helpfulness, Ronnie is cherished by the entire Amberlea community. His genuine care and commitment to service make him an invaluable member of the Pendergast family, and we express deep gratitude for his contributions and positive impact to our community.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you, gracias. Thank you. Gracias, muchas gracias. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Oh, you're not done.
Sorry, I'm so sorry. Your look here first. All right, 1 second. 1, 2, 3. I'm gonna take a few. Okay, wait. Is there somebody here with you? Yes. I need this or take those off. You guys come up first. Okay, you guys got this really squeezed in. They don't know where to look. Everybody's looking. Okay, ready? Okay. 1, 2, 3. Awesome. Thank you.
So I know the members of our board know Richard as well, but he was also a Be Recognized Award winner, but he wasn't able to come the evening of that board meeting. So can we celebrate Richard as well?
Okay, look over here, guys. I'll wait. All right, you ready? 1, 2, 3.
All right. Our next Be Recognized Award winner for this evening is Chelsea Robbins, Human Resources Specialist. Chelsea stands out as a deserving recipient of the Be Recognized Award for her remarkable qualities of reliability, collaboration, and creativity. Demonstrating significant personal and professional growth, Chelsea has enriched Pendergast with her knowledge and innovative ideas. Her unwavering dedication and positive attitude shine through in all aspects of her work. Chelsea's proactive approach to problem solving and her commitment to providing exceptional customer service exemplify her outstanding work ethic. Her cheerful demeanor and willingness to assist make her a valued member of the district office, creating a welcoming environment for all. Chelsea's contributions and impact make her truly deserving of this recognition, and her continued dedication promises a bright future in her role. Congratulations, Chelsea.
Okay, Dr. Cruz, would you like to invite our student board members to provide their school reports?
Yes, good evening, Madam President, esteemed board members, student board members, cabinet, and the community. It is a pleasure to get to introduce our amazing student board members this evening. They are going to give their school reports, and before they give their school reports, I do want to note that we're going to have them talk a little bit about their trip, but not this evening, so know that that is coming.
Good evening, Madam President. Highlights from these schools are Sunset Ridge. Congratulations to Sunset Ridge 8th grade student Dean B for placing in the top 6 at the Westwind Impact Region 6 Spelling Bee. Sunset Ridge wishes 3rd through 8th grade students good luck at the PESD Math Challenge this week. Sunset Ridge students are prepared and ready to defend their titles from last year. Canyon Breeze. Students and staff came together to honor the dedicated school bus drivers on School Bus Driver Day. Students gave heartfelt expressions of gratitude by making handmade cards, banners, and a special crumble cookie for each driver. Thank you, PESD bus drivers. Canyon Breeze teachers finalized our new school vision after feedback from students, staff, and families. Our new vision reflects our Fine Arts Academy and our commitment and dedication to school improvement and meeting the needs of our diverse school community. Rio Vista. Our 6th through 8th graders got to enjoy a Valentine's dance to celebrate the special day with each other. Our 6th through 8th graders took part in and completed the Draw the Line curriculum last week, and this week our 8th graders are taking part in the Arizona Youth Survey. Westwind. Westwind's 7th grade science classes had visitors from Salt River Project. The students participated in activities on energy transformation, energy conservation, and alternative forms of energy. The Westwind students enjoyed participating in activities. Westwind's 8th grade students are having a great time experiencing the district's VR goggles. Students are having the opportunity to explore careers through virtual hands-on experiences. Exciting way to learn. And now Joel will give us his reports.
Good evening, Madam President. Highlights from these schools are Desert Mirage. Desert Mirage's celebration of Black History Month culminated with a family luncheon on February 23rd. The lunch consisted of chicken and sausage jambalaya with jollof rice. This menu was scholar created, represented cultural roots, and was brought to fruition by the amazing Chef Sam and our awesome Chartwolves team. Additionally, our Desert Mirage step team did 3 outstanding performances for our families during the luncheon. Desert Mirage is beyond excited to be in the Elite 8 with the Read to the Final 4 program. Our third grade scholars are reading epic amounts and recording their progress. Literacy is beyond important in our scholars' education journey, and this program has influenced their growth in a positive way. A huge shout out to Mrs. Panfili for her dedication to our scholars and their literacy journey. Excuse me. Desert Horizon. On Friday, February 23rd, all students in the Autism Support Cadre program took a field trip to Wildlife World Zoo in Litchfield Park. The field trip was a great success. The students were able to practice social skills while enjoying the outdoors. They were excited to see all the animals in their habitat. Desert Horizon staff participated in a professional development with Playworks. Playworks provides a structured environment for recess where kids learn to solve problems, take turns, and listen to others. Teachers oversee the activities to engage students in safe play, and junior coaches, or student leaders, model the activities and support their classmates. Amber Leah, a big congratulations to our awesome third grade students for making it to the Elite 8 in the race to read to the Final 4. Teachers and students have increased their time and focus on reading with various strategies throughout the day and after school. Amber Leah's fourth grade students participated in the NAEP test this past week. We are proud to say we had 100% of our students tested. Thank you, Mrs. Lizarraga, for encouraging our students and parents regarding the importance of being present during testing. In Pendergast. In celebration of Black History Month, Pendergast students have been demonstrating their creativity and dedication by creating and displaying an array of pictures and research projects around the campus. These activities have provided our students with a valuable opportunity to explore the intricate and diverse history of African Americans and acknowledging and honoring their struggles, accomplishments, and contributions throughout the ages. Mrs. Overby, our site interventionist, is beginning a creative crafters club for students in 4th to 6th grade that are interested in using their creativity to make fun crafts using our makerspace and Fuse equipment. Students will have access to Cricut vinyl cutters, sewing machines, 3D printers, and various other technology resources. And now Mariah will give the last reports.
Good evening, Madam President. How assembly schools are. Villa de Paz. Congratulations to our Villa de Paz Ballet Folklorico students, dancers who performed at the School Connect Summit 2024 on February 12th at the Footprint Center. Thank you to our music teacher, Mrs. Williams, who always manages to deliver a spectacular performance. And go Dust Devils. Villa de Paz interventionist, Mrs. Adriana Valle, held a Latino family literacy project on February 6th. The event offered participants a cultural competency framework focusing on a family-centered curriculum. The event was well attended and will continue to be available to the VDP community. Copper King. On Friday, Copper King held their Copper King's Got Talent show. It was a great event that included comedy, gymnastics, choreographed dance routines, teacher performances, and a great crowd participation. We are so proud of all of our wonderful students and staff that participated. Copper King definitely put the arts in STEAM. If you missed this year, we hope to see you next year. Copper King is kicking off our Spring into Success PBIS challenge. Each week, students will continue to focus on a school-wide expectation. Classes will reteach lessons that target the following areas: perseverance, act safely, cooperation, and be kind. For these challenges, students are earning points to participate in various school-wide celebrations. Sonora Sky. Sonora Sky 7th grade comments learned much on their trip to the Chandler Center for the Arts to enjoy the musical North, a story about a son and a mother's escape from slavery through the Underground Railroad. Students connected this experience to the Black History Month learning and explorations happening on campus and had a picnic-style lunch afterwards with teachers, staff, and family chaperone volunteers. Sonora Sky is very proud of our spelling bee champion, Gracia, grade 4, in their final participation in the regional spelling bee on February 10th, representing our school and school district. She was one of the 5 remaining spellers out of 32 at the start of the competition and was the second youngest of the competition. Garden Lakes. We want to give a shout out to Mrs. Alicia Westmoreland for a successful kickoff to Read Better, Be Better. The after-school program has student leaders and readers that will be collaborating and becoming better readers. We want to give a shout out to our National Junior Honor Society students for supporting the community food drive at the Church of Jesus Christ at Latter-day Saints on Friday, February 23rd. 12 outstanding kids helped by unloading trucks, filling food boxes, and loading cars after school. Thank you. That is all the reports for tonight.
Thank you. Dr. Cruz, would you like to give your report?
Yes. Good evening, Madam President. It's been busy since our last governing board meeting. We had an amazing trip with our 8th grade superintendent student council students at Stanford, Apple, Google, all kinds of amazing things. Again, our student board members will give you an update about that the next time we see you. But that was a wonderful opportunity. We really genuinely appreciate all the effort that went into that. Also got to celebrate, again, VDP at the School Connect Summit. And really appreciated all of Mr. Alvarez's work. You know, he was one of the folks who actually helped put the School Connect Summit on, and it happened at the Footprint Center, and it was a great event. We had a number of our principals that attended, you know, hopefully having that opportunity to make some more connections with potential partners. And as you know, I had an opportunity to go to AASA, which is Superintendent's Association conference, to do some learning. And I really genuinely want to thank you. You know, sometimes we take advantage of the fact that here in Pendergast we really value folks going out to conferences, learning and growing and getting better, you know, for our students. And I know that that just isn't the case in every school district. So I genuinely appreciate that valuing learning. And, you know, we learned some really great things, and we're going to come back and do some things better for our students, hopefully, and for our community. So thank you for that opportunity. It was really good to have a chance to get out and learn with some national folks. And to Mr. White's, you know, board agenda request, there were quite a few sessions about artificial intelligence and particularly generative AI. Really interesting because on one hand it was you really shouldn't be, you know, fearful, you got to dive into this, and on the other hand it was like this is an existential crisis waiting to happen, you should run and hide. So we're still contemplating some of the different feedback and advice we received from various folks, but we are going to be having some of those conversations get started in our system. But again, really helpful to actually be able to hear from folks across the country who are thinking about these things and trying to work their way through. Our world dominance continues, and I think it's very important to note that in the West Valley robotics competition, I'm gonna pick on Dr. Brown if she is in here. I don't know, Shellman, are you here? How many of our student groups were in the top 10? 6 of our groups were in the top 10.
Wow.
Yeah. Wonderful. Wonderful. Yep. Exactly. And we're so proud of that. And we have 3 student groups that are actually going to be competing at the state level, and it looks like they've got a pretty good chance to actually qualify for Worlds. So that competition is actually happening the first Saturday that spring break begins. So we won't know what those outcomes are for those kiddos until after that competition. So we may be bringing the governing board, you know, that opportunity for the students to actually compete at the world competition. So that might be coming to y'all a little bit late, but we've got fingers crossed. Although actually we don't need luck because we've got hustle. The kids did a fantastic demonstration of their work, and they actually beat their top score when they were just low-key demonstrating their work to a visiting superintendent. So, you know, little humble brag there, not so humble. We also have a number of students who whose science fair projects were actually first place in the Westside Impact Science Fair, and so those students will also get to display their work at the state science fair that is coming up. So stay tuned for that. We had some really great school visits. So we had a colleague, another superintendent from a school district just outside the valley, wanted to come and hear more about the Next Ed workforce. And I really can't thank our principals and our teachers enough for their open, honest dialogue with one of our colleagues about how things are going, in these first few months. And we're super excited about the feedback that they gave us, both the positive feedback and also the feedback for growth, which was really, really helpful to hear. So, and that superintendent actually wants to bring some of their folks to come and actually have those conversations with, with our staff, because they really think it's a promising practice in terms of improving teacher working conditions, improving things for students and, student learning. So really excited about that and really appreciative of that ability to collaborate with another school district. And Mind 24/7 is another one of our partners. We had a fantastic family fun day event. I know that some of y'all had the opportunity to make it out there. That was great. And we're looking forward to the GAIN event that's going to be happening at the Pendergast Community Center right there by Via de Paz this Friday evening. So we hope that we get lots of folks out to the GAIN event as well. It's really nice to see our community turn out and just enjoy having that time together with their families. So I know the GAIN event's going to be fantastic, and the Mind 24/7 Family Fun Day was really, really great. You already heard the humble brag that Amber Leah and Desert Mirage made it to the Elite Eight in the Read to the Final Four. There were more than 240 schools that actually participated in the NCAA Read to the Final Four, and so for us to have 2 of them that made it to the top 8 is pretty awesome. And we're really hopeful that they're going to make it to the Final Four. And congratulations to those students and staff for their commitment to really getting kids reading fluently. Reading fluency is just important. You just have to put in the time sometimes in order to get really good at something, and reading fluency is just one of those things you just have to read. So we're super grateful to the team at Amber Leah for getting us started, with this good trouble, and also for just their perseverance and making sure that their kids are working really hard and reading a lot right now. Really, really good. And then finally, our last bit of world domination good news is that Joe Schaefer is an amazing music teacher at Canyon Breeze. You will also have seen him because he's one of our esports coaches, and Canyon Breeze has just been a difficult force for the other schools to reckon with when it comes to esports, right? They're on some kind of quest, I think. But he was recognized by KTAR today. One of our families nominated him for Pay Tribute to a Teacher, which is really great, that one of our families did that. We're super appreciative of them recognizing his talent. And just exactly the way you would think, he's donating his prize money back to the school so that he can get stuff for kids. So just like Pendergast. That completes our world domination for right now.
She's just beaming, isn't she? And she should be. There's some great things happening in our district. Now we will continue with our board member reports. And Mr. Arenas, would you like to start?
Yeah, good evening, Madam President, members of the board, community members. I'll be quick. I do want to recognize once again and thank the Be Recognized Awards recipients this evening. Again, Mr. Salcedo's like the governor, the mayor of the West Valley, good man and good colleagues tonight. So it's a nice recognition. As we prepare for spring break, I want to wish everybody well, all staff, families, and students, especially as you prepare for the upcoming testing season. That's obviously here already, and it's going to be it's here already. So I'll say that. Also, do want to honor and celebrate the beautiful contributions and the support with Black History Month at our respective schools as we continue to honor Black History Month. Certainly, I do also want to thank those esteemed leaders and employees who are here tonight representing the counseling department and PBIS support services, student support. So I've always said, and I will always say, and I will continue to say that it's before, during, and after when you take your work home, as all teachers and employees do, but it's the services that you provide for our students goes way beyond. I know that, I recognize that, and I know I'm speaking for everybody here. We respect that and we honor you. So thank you for all you do. That's all I have, Madam President.
Thank you, Mr. Arenas. Mr. White.
Thank you, Madam President. And first of all, I apologize for my tardiness. My day job kept me from being here on time, so I apologize for that, but I'm happy to be here tonight. And to Dr. Cruz's point, I think hopefully we're somewhere in the middle with AI between helping us and destroying the world, right? So hopefully it's more on the helping us side, but we'll see what happens. I appreciate that. Similar to some things that have already been mentioned, my girls and I had the opportunity to attend the West Valley robotics competition. So thank you to Dr. Linhart and others who gave up their Saturday, again, the Saturday of the long weekend, to go and have the robotics teams there. I know that we went down and talked to Dr. Linhart and said, oh yeah, you got a couple teams here, huh? And she said, that table and that table and that table and that table and that table. So there was a great turnout and a number of teams for robotics. So that's exciting for them to compete at state and hopefully at Worlds as well. And then we also attended the Family Fun Day, which was on Saturday at the PCC. So thanks to Mind 24/7 for that. My wife had her lifelong dream of a family caricature realized. So that was a high point so far, and able to get her out of the house again with her elbow being not at 100%. So again, just really appreciate all the extracurriculars and stuff that's happening outside, especially for our community. To have resources for Mind 24/7 with mental health and normalizing some of that, not only for our students but our staff as well, and community as a whole. I know that that was a gym at one point, so from the physical to the mental, I think that's kind of fitting for that building. And then lastly, just by coincidence, there again, my wife works in the affordable housing side of homelessness now, rather than the shelter. There is a conference out in Mesa happening today and tomorrow, and so she texted me this morning like, oh I'm in a session about housing teachers, right, and housing crisis and affordable housing for teachers. So I know that we've had some of those conversations, and that continues to be a conversation. I'm glad that other areas, other sectors are jumping on with that conversation as well, and so hopefully we can build some momentum for affordable housing for our teachers and also for our community members. And that's all I have, President.
Thank you, Mr. White. Mr. Casella.
Yeah, thank you, Madam President. I don't have a whole lot today or this evening either. Been kind of a busy past couple of weeks for me, dealing with a lot of stuff. But I also just kind of wanted to piggyback off of Mr. White's comments about the AI presentation. I'm really looking forward to that as well, because in my spare time, I've been teaching a class at ASU through their College of Law. And I'm noticing that there's some AI submissions being turned in through there as well. And I'm starting to catch on to it, and I see it, and I'm like, wow. Okay, so trying to find a way to deal with that is a struggle that I share with you all now. So finding a way not only to adapt to the student use, but also having teacher use as well. And then I went to a really interesting conference. I'm starting to do some labor law now as well, and I was at a conference regarding some labor law issues, and they talked about the use of AI in the legal field as well. And it's pretty fascinating to see how how the whole field of practicing law is being impacted by the use of AI as well. And the research and the arguments that are being created and how courts are adapting to it as well. It's fascinating and it's scary at the same time. And seeing how much it costs to purchase some of those tools is pretty ridiculous as well. So, but it's really interesting. So I'm really fascinated to see how, to see us kind of be on the cutting edge of that as well, and to stay on top of that, because it is a quickly evolving thing here in education, and for us to stay on top of it, I think is really important. Aside from that, an announcement. I know our district here in Pendergast, we have a new member of the state legislature that represents our district now in the House of Representatives. She's also a member of the Tolleson Union High School District Governing Board. So I was having some conversations with some other school board members and some other people recently about school districts and school board members and administrations, their relationships with members of the legislature, especially in the ones that represent our district. And I know that we've been in a unique place because I was kind of that link for a long time, but now that I'm not, I do think that is an important relationship for us to foster and create. And so I'd be happy to try to help facilitate that. But I think it's important for us to be on the same page with those that represent us in office. Now that we only have 3 members of the legislature because of the district that we're in, I think it's important that we do that. And so I think that's all I have, Madam President, but look forward to the rest of the meeting. Thanks.
Thank you, Mr. Quesada. Ms. Saren?
Thank you, Madam President. Well, I went on the trip with the Student Superintendent Council, and yes, so did Mr. Keen. It was fantastic. I know the kids are going to present about it, but I just got to say, we took 23 awesome students, and they truly are leaders. I mean, they talked to people, they were at ease, they did everything that, you know, we asked them to. It was a great trip and jam-packed. Carrie makes sure that there is no minute of rest on these trips. But I've got to tell you, Stanford, the Redwoods, Google, Apple Park, Chinatown, just among a few things. It was awesome, and you'll hear from the kids, what is it, next week that they'll present, and it'll be awesome. I also went to Desert Mirage. They had, through the Maricopa County Sheriff's Department, it was Know Your Rights presentation. And Deputy Hector Martinez, he gave the presentation. And I've got to tell you, all the parents love Deputy Martinez. I mean, he has gone on to another job, but he comes back to make the presentations at Desert Mirage because it is such a unique group, and they just love hearing from them. And it was great. It was about, you know, if you get stopped or if you have to call the police, you know, what is the etiquette, you know, especially a traffic violation. Don't go reaching for something, because they're going to take that you might be reaching for something else. I mean, it was very informative, so it was great. And I also went to the Mind 24/7 Family Fun Day, and it was jam-packed. I was very pleased with the amount of parents and kids that came, and they really enjoyed it. I mean, there was face painting, the bubble truck, food trucks. There was information for the parents and a petting zoo, just all kinds of stuff, and great. I can't wait for the GAIN event on Friday. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Saren. Well, I echo what all my peers here have said in terms of how great the events are, and all the great opportunities that our children are receiving, and that they truly are leaders and taking advantage of that opportunity that has been given to them. And, you know, applause to all the staff members who do most of this work over and above the classroom, over and above their desk, if they have a desk job. And that's what it takes as a village, so thank you for that. I had the honor of attending the ASPRCOM luncheon. I think that was about 2-3 weeks ago. It's the Arizona School Public Relations Association. And at that luncheon, their primary goal is to acknowledge and highlight public relations professionals within the education field. And I'm very proud to say that we received several awards on that day. One was on the multimedia marketing campaign, and Mr. Palmeyer and Mr. Alvarez were very critical in making that highlight for us and giving us that honor. So I want to thank you for all of your hard work. Mr. Polmeyer, you know, I know you weren't there, but you were there in spirit. He was with the kids, the student council. So again, trying to do many things. So we really appreciate. We'll be there again next year, I am sure. So hopefully we'll all be there. The other thing that I attended was the university student teacher meet and greet that was sponsored by the Pendergast Foundation. And basically the goal there is to spend some time with those teachers, those future teachers, our future teachers who are in the middle of getting their classwork, their certifications, and as you know, that's so important with the shortage of teachers that we have. that pool coming up for us. And I will tell you, number one, we have some very quality individuals that have been selected for that program. And I'll tell you, it's to me a real honor that we have sponsors such as the foundation to take the time to really make these individuals feel like they are special and that they are part of the Pendergast family. The event was at Top Golf, and for any of you who have been there, that's it's a top-notch place. It's got great food, lots of fun. It's a family environment, and how often do you see that? That they're with us, but they may not be with us in the future, but that doesn't matter. We still want to welcome them, make them feel like they're a part of our family. In fact, one observation that I made is that one of our teachers is a young mother who probably didn't have daycare that evening, but wanted to attend. And the staff was there to help her, just carrying the baby or doing those kinds of things. And that's what it's all about, is us making them feel welcome, making them feel like they are special and that their families are special to us as well. So, Ms. Tussie, I know you were a lead in that event. Thank you for what you do. We need more. We need more, right? And that's all I have. Anything else? Okay, let's go on to the next agenda. Do we have any citizens' comments?
No, we do not.
Thank you, Karen. Can I have a motion to approve the consent agenda for today, items A through G?
I'll make that motion.
Do I hear a second?
I'll second.
Okay, Carrie, any discussion? No? Okay, Carrie, roll call.
Jet White?
Yes.
Jose Arenas?
Yes.
Martin Cazada?
Yes.
Susan Sarin?
Yes.
Hilda Ortega Rosales?
Yes.
There being 5 in favor, the motion carries.
There being 5 in favor, the motion passes. Dr. Cruz, are there new hires or other announcements you would like to share with us?
Yes, good evening, Madam President, esteemed board members, student board members, cabinet, and the community. We have some folks to welcome to the Pendergast team. We'll start off with Jessica Perez Lemus. She's going to be a teacher at Copper King. Luis Denojan is going to be a maintenance worker. Maria Sandoval Ramirez is going to join us at Sonora and Sky as a K-3 instructional assistant. William Tomasek is going to be a grounds maintenance worker. Angelica Valenzuela Ramirez is going to be a general helper in our maintenance department. And we have a few folks who are part of the Pendergast family already, and we appreciate them stepping into some acting roles. Christina Duvall is going to be acting principal at Desert Horizon Elementary School, and Abijah, you probably know Ms. Jay Sheeks, is going to be acting director of technology. Congratulations to all of them, and we genuinely appreciate them being part of our team.
Okay, now we'll move on to our presentations. Tonight we have a special presentation from our Educational Services team with an update of our PBIS. I would like to welcome Dr. Shalman Brown to get us started.
All right, good evening, Madam President, esteemed members of the board, Dr. Cruz, cabinet, our student board members and community. I'd like to invite Dr. Johnson to join me because per usual, I just get to lead the most amazing ed services team in the state of Arizona. And Dr. Johnson came on board. You'll remember that he joined us just this school year and was tasked with really evaluating our climate and culture throughout the Pendergast district to make sure that not only are we growing students academically, but that we're making sure that our spaces are spaces that students can and want to learn and be and feel safe. And so he was tasked with looking at all aspects of climate and culture and then also building out a way to move us towards more restorative practices. And so I'm going to actually sit back and let him talk to you about the great work that's happened and the encouraging trends that we're seeing in that work. So Dr. Johnson.
Okay, thank you. Good evening, Madam President, esteemed board members, Dr. Cruz, student board members, members of cabinet, and the community. My name is Dr. Arthur Johnson, or Dr. AJ, or some people call me Mr. PBIS. But our schools have done a great job with culture and climate this year. This presentation will just highlight some things we've done, but also take a look at pivoting toward a more restorative culture in our district. I'm a firm believer in what discipline really is. It's intended to really teach children, even going back to what the term really means. The Latin term, disciplina, which means instruction and learning. So that's what we've always done. So the schools have done a great job this year, and we'll see what we've done thus far this school term. We've seen this pyramid time and time again. Tier 1, what everyone gets, that's our school-wide expectations. That's expectations, classroom, hallway, courtyard. That's what every kid gets. Tier 2, those kids who may misbehave every now and then, may see the principal a few times. Those kids may need some targeted support. In Tier 3, a very few percentage of kids actually end up in Tier 3. Those kids who need some intensive one-on-one support with their behavior. Ultimately, the notion is just really benefiting the whole child. You see here, it's not just behavior, but it's also academics as well. Because if you peel back the layers of any child, we're going to see some issues with academics, some social issues. So our goal is to make sure we peel back the layers to provide support along the way. These are some artifacts that you'll see at every school. These artifacts basically govern what schools do regarding expectations. Every school has their matrix, which indicates their specific mantra or their logo regarding what they teach our kids. Every school has expectations that are posted, classroom, cafeteria, restroom area, to remind our kids what the expectations are. And of course, each school has a flow chart which delineates what classroom teachers can handle or should handle and what the admins are tasked to take care of. So schools have done a great job of making sure that the expectations are known by the kids and teachers, parents as well, but also that wherever the kid goes, they understand what the expectation is across the entire campus. A great team sat down last fall and just determined what our goals were for the school term. We determined that, first of all, that every school will be a Tier 1 PBIS school by the end of the school year. Some schools have gone beyond that, but at a minimum, each school will have at least implement Tier 1 throughout the year. Goal number 2 is reduce out-of-school suspensions by at least 5%. We understand that, of course, kids can't learn if they're at home, but also suspension is not the answer. But we do always follow the policy and the law. But our goal was to decrease that for 5% this year. But also, goal number 3, just to recognize our great teachers and what they're doing in their classrooms. So that was our goal, and we'll talk about how we're reaching that in just a moment. Regarding our first goal, making sure our schools implement Tier 1 with fidelity, right now we got 8 out of 12 schools that are there, and 4 schools are right at the cusp of the 70%. The TFI, or the Tiered Fidelity Inventory, that's a tool the schools use to basically assess their implementation of PBIS. So right now we're on a great track. We know that we will hit the goal by May. This is data regarding our major incidents in our schools as compared to last year. Again, our schools are doing a great job of making sure that we support our teachers, but also we distinguish between what the school or what the teacher can handle or should handle, and also what the admin takes care of. So great job of comparing year one to year two, but also even in February, the trend is still what you see here. It's decreased compared to last year. There's a significant decrease. Goal number 2, our out-of-school suspension. Right now we've exceeded our goal, which was 5%, but they're doing a great job of making sure they use our progressive discipline matrix to look for ways the kids will be disciplined, but in a way that doesn't necessarily go to OSS at the first time. And goal number 3, honor our teachers. Our teachers that are doing a great job with culture and climate. That's as an admin, just love warm classrooms. And our goal was to recognize one teacher, and our principals, they nominate these teachers, our teachers, every month. Those teachers who are implementing PBIS with fidelity, those teachers that are have those warm and cultivating classroom leaders throughout the school. So we've been blessed to have a benefactor, Roman Realty. They've donated these items the whole year. So this is just one of our highlights of each month of making sure we recognize our teachers for the great job they're doing in our classes. Oops. I think AI is yeah, these are images from our PBIS kickoffs. Each year we encourage our schools, not encourage, but it's part of the culture, just to celebrate each student, celebrate even expectations. These are images where the school teams, they modeled the expectations, they taught the expectations in their own unique way, and the energy that's here, it permeates throughout the entire school year. So great job of just being there and just really celebrating our kids and our teachers. So the kids, you know, it's not a rule, it's an expectation, because we expect you to behave in such a way. What better way to hear from a kid? This is a student who's talking about his experience at his school regarding PBIS.
Chooses a student in their class and talks about the good things that they have done, like turning their work in on time, being kind, respectful, responsible, and safe. They also try to choose the kids that don't really get noticed much, or the students that don't really feel good about themselves. What they do is they notice.
This is a student just really talking about his experience at his school and how his school goes way above and beyond to recognize those kids. Every kid may not be a 4. Every kid may not be a track star, but kids can follow expectations. They can make a mistake, but grow, and that's what our schools recognize. Those kids that may not be our athlete, but they do say yes and no, yes sir, no sir, those kids that do follow the rules. One initiative that our team put forth for our schools, this is our PBIS newsletter that's created quarterly. School teams receive the newsletter, and in the newsletter, their tips, their celebrations, their videos to help our schools better implement their Tier 1 and Tier 2 levels at each campus. And we're also pivoting toward restorative practices, teaching our admins that there is another way, but also making sure our kids understand that if you did a harm, if you harmed someone, you have to restore the relationship. You have to make amends to what you've done, and also making sure that they understand that it's okay to make a mistake, but just don't dwell there. It's our job to teach that so we can create citizens for our future. These are members of our team, our great team. We have 2 behavior specialists, Debbie Beaver and Devin Garcia. They provide on-site support for our schools, to provide PD for our schools. Also, we have 2 SEL mentors, Lori and Ernest, a great job of working one-on-one with our kiddos and making sure that they have support in the time of crisis. Thank you for your time and for your support.
Thank you very much. Does anybody have any questions or comments for Dr. Johnson?
Question. Thank you, Madam President. I want to, going back to slide 7 and 8, the data, discipline data for major incidents and student support team goals, those look like really, really impressive improvements. But I want to make sure, I guess for my own benefit, I want to make sure that these are, I'm trying to find a way to say it, but I want to make sure that these are realistic numbers in the sense. So I guess my question is, the numbers from the previous year, were those in any way inflated because it was a return from COVID? And might those numbers have been inflated in that sense? And so I want to be able to celebrate the lower numbers we have now, but is it because it's a year away from COVID, another year? Or is it the work that we've been doing, or a combination of both, which I assume it is?
I think it's a combination of both.
Okay.
Because numbers across the whole nation, discipline-wise, are off the charts. They are. So they are. So what we're seeing here, it's a move against the norm. But I just started workout regimen. I'm a teacher, so sometimes I tell stories, so pardon me. So for years, I wanted to get back to my college playing weight, but I never bought a scale. I never measured my weight.
Right.
So now I have a scale, and I'm measuring my weight. So I guess what I'm saying is, we're measuring our implementation. We aren't just saying we're doing PBIS. We're actually measuring it and holding the schools, supporting them. So I think it's a little bit of both, because coming off COVID, numbers were off the charts nationwide. However, I can speak to this year because we're actually supporting, but also measuring as we go. So the schools know where they are and what support they need to reach our goal.
And yeah, and Dr. PBIS, and which I like that nickname. But I mean, it might be helpful to look, I mean, both at like kind of where we are compared to other districts right now, because it sounds like we're doing, sounds like based on what I've heard from you, that we're doing pretty well compared to like other districts nationwide in terms of our discipline. What we're doing right now is working, but also kind of compare it to pre-COVID numbers as well, so we can see where we are in that sense.
Right.
Because I would like to be doing really well compared to those numbers, you know?
Right.
But thank you.
Yes.
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 So I have thank you. So I have one question, and it kind of leads into the other question.
Sure.
So the first question, it might have been covered at school, you know, they did those presentations, but it was months back. So can I get like a recap? What is like when they reach if I'm thinking back to the triangle, like the top, that's like the worst where you could be. If they reach that and they like did something horrendous, what's like the worst punishment that they can receive that's like in the district other than expulsion?
Well, once a child reaches the top of the pyramid, that sends an alarm to us, our schools, saying this kid needs more support. So if a child does reach that level with multiple referrals or does something egregious, that means that, okay, he or she has to be disciplined, but also we need to provide more support. So maybe what we were doing at this level may not have worked. So maybe his mentor at the school may have been the wrong mentor, or so may get Coach Jones to be his mentor, or maybe, so when a kid reaches that level, it's more of what can we do to support the kid, although he or she may be disciplined for the consequence, but ultimately, how can we support him or her so he or she can work their way back down the pyramid?
I think that's great personally, because through the years, when you think back to, like, for example, my grandparents' days, like, discipline was seen as, if you were considered like, oh, he's a troublemaker, you were seen as like this bad person who walks around stomping on little kids and just wreaking havoc across the school. But I think it's great nowadays that that has kind of been turned around, and they're moreover so given an opportunity to like repent from that lifestyle and to just like sorry. Okay, so in other words, like, they can come back from being considered as this troubled child who's causing problems to get back like that, you know. And then it also kind of shines onto them as like, look at their growth. So it really does make them look at this student coming, like, per se, like a month back, he was constantly in like ISS, constantly getting sent to the office, and then now he's sitting in class peacefully getting, I don't know, 2s and 3s, maybe even 4s. So it does, I like how it gives a second chance, and I think that's very good personally. Second part, so sorry. So when speaking in the terms of getting to that red part of the triangle, about how many students would you say per year end up there and across the district, and then like how many per month?
Okay.
Dividing it.
Good question. So currently, we're tracking numbers based on referrals and OSS and referrals. So we're pivoting toward a tiered system, so our schools can better help the children in the middle and also the red. So it depends upon which school. It depends upon what school you're at. So what our goal is to make sure our schools have teams in place to make sure that the kids in the middle and the top get support. So that each year the number can decrease.
Thank you very much. Sorry.
No, great questions.
Mr. Hoy.
Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you, Joe.
Never apologize for your questions also. So thank you for the presentation. I really appreciate your view, your thoughts on discipline. I think in a similar vein, it's always interesting when the interview question comes around with classroom management and the response that comes from asking about classroom management and the viewpoint of that educator. I guess to kind of go off a little bit of what Senator Casado was talking about, and I think I've mentioned this in the past of like, with the matrices that you've talked about, and the other thing, the artifacts that are at schools, are we doing a better job of educating educators on what is a referable offense? I call them like real referrals, right? Because people get sent to the office for some wild stuff, and it's like, what are you doing? And they go right back to class because it's not a real infraction, I guess.
Right. Great question, Board Member White. We are working with our principals regarding how to write referrals for our teachers and staff, and also reinforcing our matrix regarding what is office handled and what is office handled. It's an ongoing process, which we'll reteach this summer, in the fall, but it's ongoing regarding what is an office referral and what just gets on your nerves.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. And then a separate referral process, I'm just curious, and it's so convenient, right? We have PBIS, and then we're going to hear from counselors in a second, and then we're going to talk about the discipline policy. It's almost like it was planned this way. So I guess, like, is there a not to the office, but a referral process to a counselor or a referral process to somebody, if me as a classroom teacher, I'm like, man, the student's been sleeping in class. It looks like maybe they're experiencing homelessness. Hey, oh man, this student's really angry. I know their parents are going through a divorce. Like, is there a Google form? Is there a process for me to talk to Mr. A and say, hey, Mr. A, might need to check in on this student?
Great question. Again, Board Member White. But yes, there is. For counselors, each campus has a referral process that's confidential that each kid can submit. But also, admins submit referrals to my office as well. If there's a kid reaching the red or the yellow, they email our office, and we ask several questions. We marshal our resources to support the school and the kid. But yes.
And then my last question is just, I was going to ask it, and then I saw it on one of the slides of the, I think one of the newsletters, just about the check-in, check-out. And I know that was powerful for students that I've supported. I've done check-in, check-out and some mentoring with students when I was at the elementary level. And so can you just talk a little bit about check-in, check-out?
Sure. At the, Board Member White. At the Tier 2 level, schools they pair kids with in-school mentors, and that mentor the kid checks in with that mentor at least twice a day. In the morning, to make sure he or she is off to a good start. The kid has goals as well that he or she has to meet throughout the day, throughout the week. And it could be in digital format or either pen paper, and that those teachers check off on whether the kid has been safe, responsible, and respectful in their class. And the school team, school counselors and the team support that kid regarding, you're doing great, when we meet in every 2 weeks or so, and the kid gets praised or gets this incentive. However, if the data is going in the opposite direction, the school team may determine we may need to try something else. So that is one of our go-tos is check in, check out. But that's traditionally how it's used in our schools.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. White. Anybody else?
Yeah. Thank you for the presentation. It was very informative. That was very interesting, the out-of-school suspensions and the major incidents, and then they are going down. And you can see even from the beginning of this year, they keep being reduced. I like the way teachers are honored for their contribution. That's giving back. That is so great. At the beginning of the school year, are all the teachers, are there, when they first come before school starts, are they given refresher courses on PBIS?
New teachers, yes, ma'am. New teacher orientation.
Teacher orientation?
Yes, ma'am. And after that, we encourage our school leaders to do a refresher course on classroom management for everyone.
Oh, okay, that's great. How about when new teachers come in the middle of the year? That would be up to the schools to get them up to speed on things?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Also, the restorative practices and, getting those relationships built and, restoring peace on the campus, I think that is fantastic. I think that's a great component of PBIS, that you're actually showing them, hey, we need to talk this out, we need to sit down and, work things out. That's great for kids now and then in their adult life, for sure.
Yes, ma'am, you're right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So go ahead.
Madam President, just kind of a follow-up to Ms. Saren's question, because she asked about teachers coming in mid-year, and it's kind of up to each school to, I guess, give them that professional development about PBIS. Do we have a way that we're ensuring that happens? I assume that it does, that every principal is doing that, but that's because I see this as a philosophical thing. This is a mindset that we have here in this district, and bringing someone in mid-year, I think that's a very important element that they need to be on board with, so I guess that's just my question. How do we ensure that that's happening for those teachers?
That's a good point. That'll be a point of, we can look at how we can do that going forward. But we have to work with our principals to make sure that they check in with us to make sure we give them the tools they need to they can transition successfully. Thank you for that.
Thank you, Mr. Quesada. Mr. Arenas?
No, just a quick couple statements and maybe a couple questions, Dr. Johnson. But first of all, thank you again for honoring teachers. I think that is a big part of this whole programmatic element, if you will, right? I'm not so sure if it's a paradigm shift or not, because when we talk about restorative practices, I've always felt in many ways, at least my sons have retaught me this, or taught me this, is that restorative just as many times is like tough love. You know, discipline with dignity. You know, some of those practices that I don't think we've lost, but maybe it's wordsmithing and changing maybe our mindset, as we've said once again. But one thing I do believe in and support is that restorative practices, restorative justice, if you will, I know they're used interchangeably, doesn't necessarily mean that you're not holding students accountable, you know. And I think many times there's still that gap, and I think that's probably, I would assume, sir, one of the biggest issues that you and your department has to face at times, right? Because many times people, employees, adults in our world, will say, well, you know what, now he or she's saying thank you to me, but why is he or she not going home for 3 days or whatever, right? So, and again, that's just more of a statement. I don't know if it's a question, but nonetheless, I see that, and I know that's an ongoing. And then last but not least, I just want to, in terms of personnel, you mentioned 2 SEL mentors, correct, sir?
That is
and
correct.
The other 2 employees are, what are their titles?
They're behavior specialists.
Okay, got you. And so there's 4, including yourself, and that's district-wide, is that correct?
That is correct.
So that could be problematic, right, in terms of staffing, right? I mean, I know it's not easy, and please, it's not that I got you. I don't want, you guys aren't going to lose your jobs. But why I say it is because, God, they're so important, and they're an integral part to this process, right? So when you're pulling SEL mentor here, and I'm needed there, and again, this is not, I know finances are tight, staffing's tight, so certainly I'm advocating for more, but it's easier said than done. But is that, or have you been able to navigate through? I guess that is that question.
Well, good question, Board Member Arenas. We've been able to navigate and also give resources to our schools to build their tool bags. So that as a kid climbs up the pyramid, the schools have their school teams, and they have the tools to try, you know, behavior contract, check in, check out, so they can exhaust their resources also. So we've been using our resources, our personnel resources, but also the goal is to empower our schools to give them more tools so they can meet the needs of our students.
And sometimes, sir, I'm assuming when you say resources, could be outside resources, correct? Depending on the degree of or the severity of the issue student and or family may be facing, correct?
That's correct.
Okay. And then last but not least, I lied. I want to use a sports analogy. You talked about, I love what you said about measuring and basically the scale and that. And my sport analogy is, you know, my speed's deceptive. I'm a lot slower than I look. That was pretty good, right? I just came up with that, but thank you. Appreciate all you do and what your staff does. I really do. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Arenas. I just have a couple of questions and some comments. Kind of piggybacking on what Senator Quesada was talking about in terms of the figures. And know that we do this with everybody. We do. Data is important to us. If we're asking our teachers, if we're asking our administrators at the schools to gather data and to do something with that data, then we should expect to understand it. And if we don't ask those questions, but also, is there something missing from a board perspective? What else do we think is needed? And so I hope that you understand that.
Yes.
I will tell you that I was involved with PBS like 10, 15 years ago, and where PBIS has gone, it's leaps and bounds. And what I see here is, and in particular, the pyramid, because the original PBIS pyramid was just the behavior piece. It did not have the academics. And we all know that at the end of the day, what we want is for that child to excel academically, but beyond that. Because you can excel academically, but that doesn't mean your world around you is in such havoc that your behavior isn't where it needs to be, or vice versa, the other way around. So it sounds to me like we are on the right track in terms of not calling PBIS a program, but to say that PBIS is it's an institutionalized strategy and objective for us because we believe in restorative justice. And as I read the policies to prepare for today, I just cringed when I saw that corporate punishment was still there.
Yeah.
I'm like, what? I know it's not been there, but it had not been, and I'm not talking in terms of our district making that change. It's the legislature making that change from a statutory perspective. And this, the more we begin to take those kinds of things away, the better we'll be able to institutionalize something like this. And, it can't be done without the support of a leader like yourself. And I commend Dr. Cruz, and I'm sure Dr. Brown had something to do with it. Shaman had something to do with it in terms of understanding if we wanted to get to that point of making sure restorative justice was a priority for us, that we hire someone who has that expertise. And in my opinion, you have that expertise. We speak well there, and I'm hoping that you take us leaps and bounds to be an example across this country, because I know we can be, in particular with the community that we serve. From a data perspective, I too would like to see where we were pre-COVID. And it's only because I want that benchmark of, so here, if we would have not had COVID, where would it have been? Right? Maybe a good story, maybe not so good story. But the other thing I would like to see is, where are we from a school perspective? And maybe you have that. And I don't expect it for us to give it in a presentation, but in some way, if we could get some of the school data, because for me, I want to support those that are struggling the most, and I also want to be able to celebrate those who are doing well, and then understand the why.
Sure.
So that we can make those that are doing well even better, and for them to be able to share those best practices from a peer support perspective, but also bringing those up who are struggling with it. And our schools are different. They're all dynamic, and they have their own little community. So we need to look at that data so we understand that. Just roughly, if you look at this, our numbers, we have 7,500 students, and roughly 7,500, out of school suspensions. That, from a district perspective, is still a number we need to work through. But we can't do it at a district level. We got to dig deeper.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So I congratulate you. This is excellent. And thank you to all those who are involved in this process. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam President. We'll get that for you as well. Thank you.
Anything else? Okay. Thanks again. Okay, we are continuing with our presentations from our Ed Services School Counselor update. If you could please come up.
At this time, it's my pleasure to introduce Madam President, board members, Dr. Cruz, and student board members, our two lead counselors, Counselor Akeen and also Counselor Amber Hennings, they'll be presenting on tonight.
Thank you.
Excuse me.
Good evening, Madam President, esteemed board members, Superintendent Dr. Cruz, student board members, and Pendergast community. My name is Akini, and I'm the school counselor at Villa de Paz. And this is Amber Henning. She's the school counselor at Rio Vista. And together we are the co-leads for the Pendergast school counselors that you see here on screen. Good-looking group. So first off, we want to thank you all for the acknowledgement during counseling week. we had the opportunity during that week to attend the State School Counselors Conference. And it was a great learning opportunity for all of us counselors. And really, honestly, one of the reasons that we're able to be as effective as we are as a counseling team is because of the opportunities for professional development our district affords us. So we truly thank you guys for that. So over the next few slides, we're going to spend some time talking about what a day in the life of a Pendergast school counselor might look like. And we're going to highlight those by showing the many different hats that our counselors like to wear.
All right, good evening, Madam President, esteemed board members, Superintendent Dr. Cruz, and student board members and the Pendergast community. So as we begin our day in the life portrayal, we're gonna focus on some of the direct student services that our Pendergast school counselors provide. So in our first stop of the day, you're gonna see Miss Teague at Desert Mirage. She is greeting students as they arrive at school. So Pendergast counselors really strive to be a consistent, positive presence for our students across campus. In the second image, you see Mr. A at Villa de Paz is teaching a character education lesson on coping skills with first grade students. Pendergast counselors provide Tier 1 support to all students in kindergarten through 8th grade. Pendergast counselors also provide Tier 2 support through small groups. Here you see Ms. Trano at Westwind is working with students in a small group focused on creating meaningful friendships. The final image portrays Tier 3 support where Pendergast counselors meet with students on a one-on-one as-needed basis. As we continue on with our day in the life timeline, we will now focus on some of the indirect services that our counselors provide. So Pendergast counselors come with a wealth of knowledge and expertise. With this, our counselors are able to present to staff on a variety of topics such as bullying prevention and self-care. Our Pendergast district has the privilege of working with a variety of different programs to support our counseling program and our students. In the second photo, you see Mr. Cover at Sunset Ridge is putting together a schedule to send out to teachers for our Draw the Line, Respect the Line curriculum implementation. Counselors in Pendergast work closely with administration and staff to provide our students with multi-tiered systems of support. In the next photo, you see Mrs. Moreno at Pendergast is meeting with her admin and psychologist to discuss a student and then the different possible supports that they might need. The final image portrays the collaboration of Pendergast counselors and the families in our school communities. It is our belief that when the school and family work together, we can best support our students.
So as we finish a day in the life of a Pendergast school counselor, we'll focus on future and career planning as well as resources for students and families in need. So all Pendergast school counselors provide college and career planning services to our students. In the first image, you see Miss Entwistle from Westwind teaching a My Future AZ career exploration lesson to her 8th grade students. Something really that's new and really exciting this year is that we have the inclusion of the transfer VR goggles that literally drop our students into the world of work, immersed in the world of work, which is really cool. And we've been tracking some of the careers that the kids have been really interested in. Some of the top career fields are the health sciences field. So you'll see kids who are interested in a surgical technician or even a registered nurse. The other areas that were some of the top areas were architecture and construction, which was pretty cool. We had a lot of electricians and solar technicians. I hear solar might be catching on. So as you look at the next picture, Pendergast school counselors also provide support to families throughout the school year. Right here you see Miss Bird from over at Amberlea collecting items for our annual toy drives during the holiday season. These resources range from actual toys or essentials to food or even clothing items. Next up, Pendergast school counselors are also members of their individual campus crisis teams. And in the third image right here, you actually see Ms. Hennings working one-on-one at Rio Vista with one of her students who need a little de-escalation during some, we'll call it big emotions. And then in the final picture, we have we want to show you guys that Pendergast school counselors are all members of their district crisis teams. And we respond following any crises that might arise around the school district. So you'll see that this is one of our crisis bins. And these have, supplies that we might need in the event of, a crisis. And each site has an identical bin so that we can ensure that we have supplies at every site. So after a look at a day in the life of a Pendergast school counselor, you begin to see the reach and the impact that our counselors have, both on our individual communities, but also at the Pendergast community at large. So we really want to just thank you guys for the opportunity to share today and for the time to share. So I appreciate you guys. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Do we have any questions?
Excuse me.
or
Yeah, first of all, I
comments?
apologize. Excuse me. Get choked up. Thank you all for what you do. I said it earlier. I just want to, on behalf of everyone, and I know you'll hear that again. And my only question is, Mr. Hakeem, are you still Wildcat? Are you looking speaking over to ASU yet? Or I'm sorry, I have to ask this every year when I see this man.
Wildcat for life.
There you
already know. Yeah.
Yeah.
Glad people are interested in going to college.
On a serious note, thank you all for what you do. You know that I'm not making light of it. I respect all of you collectively and individually. Leadership, Dr. Brown's taking this to another level, and we know what you do. We know what you do, and again, I say this often. I'll say it again. I mean, you take your work home with you. It's not easy, and again, you're very well along with your colleagues, sir. But you could, I said, Mr. Salcedo's the mayor. You could be the vice mayor because people know who you are, and that says a lot about your colleagues. And that's not who you are. I know you don't go out there and puff your chest, but you carry yourself very well, sir.
Thank you, sir.
And,
Thank you.
so thank you.
Anyone else? Yes, Ms. Sarah.
I want to thank you for the presentation too. I do have a question for you. When do you sleep? I mean, truthfully,
find time.
everything you do, and I appreciate everything you do for our students. And I also like the way you team up when there's a crisis at one of the campuses, and you'll go to that campus and help out there. That is fantastic. Now, what you do for the kids, and I am so glad, Dr. Cruz, we continue year after year to have counselors on all of our campuses because really our students need it, and you are such a big help, and I want to thank all of you for everything you do. I do have a question for Dr. Cruz. At the two campuses where we don't have counselors right now, what happens, if they're in need? Do some of our others go over and help out?
Madam President, Ms. Sarin, I actually want the counselors to tell you about that because they're the ones who are experiencing that in their regular workday. Because I want to make sure you get, that's a very difficult situation.
It is. So on top of obviously supporting our own schools, we have made an effort to make sure that those schools are supported in those very serious situations. So we created a coverage team tree. So we split the schools into two. It was at 3 because we had one counselor out for a little bit, but right now it's just down to 2. And we have our counselors split into those, and we have a lead for each one. So the protocol is that Dr. Johnson will reach out to one of us, and then we will reach out to the next person on that team. And we're just trying to rotate it so people aren't having to go too often, but just making sure that those students are getting the support.
That's great. Thank you so much.
We also will partner with a school proximity-wise, just in the event of. So, hey, I have a student over here who might benefit from hearing from you. Hey, I got 20 minutes, after lunch. I'll be over there and I'll support, So we try our best to partner up and, be there for each other.
Thank you.
Thank you. Oh, well, your question, please.
Hi, Mr. Ray. Quick question. So, to both of you. So more on a serious level, like if a student were actually, for example, let's say friend A is having very bad anxiety because of something serious, not like, oh, I lost my phone, now I'm all mad. No, at a very serious level that it's concerning their safety or how their health, mental health, or just their health in general may be. In the case that the student does not want to open up to the principal, a teacher, a counselor, because again, some students will gladly go, they will vent and they will try to get the help, but some will keep it quiet because they don't want to, as they say, like rat out their parents, or they don't want to get into further trouble. Because I've heard of situations where parents are like, you better not tell, and it's very sad. So in the case that a student were not to speak, what are the precautions taken so the student's safety is assured, like in the future?
Well, I can tell you, student safety is always number one priority. So certain things like student safety, that jumps to the top of the list. And so we do what we can to keep students safe no matter what, right? So you talked about, what happens if they don't really want to share with another, staff member or person on campus or parent even. We have multiple resources both at school and also outside of school, right? So when you were telling me the story, Teen Lifeline, the hotline jumped into my head. You're mentioning you're looking for something confidential. To where they don't necessarily have to share with a parent or with a staff member, but they need to talk. They need to let it out, right? So some of those hotlines can be beneficial. But we also encourage speaking to a trusted adult. You guys lose sight about how valuable students can be, right? Your peers, your friends, your classmates, maybe somebody that you haven't talked to before, right? There are opportunities all over to be able to speak, express yourself, if confidentiality is a concern.
Yeah, thank you. Now, like, for example, let's say the student is like really, really like sheltered and they do not want to speak out at all. Will there be like legalities involved, like perhaps a caseworker going over to speak to the parents, or is there like a long process to that?
I would say again, if student safety is the concern, we'll take every measure to make sure that the student is safe. Sometimes, and it's unfortunate, but sometimes we have to, I have to tell somebody about this to keep you safe, right? And I'd rather the student be mad at me and be here to be mad at me than not. So.
Right, thank you.
Oh, and those were very,
Great
very
questions,
good
Joel.
questions. As you
Great
can
job.
tell, they are truly being trained.
Yes.
Is that, at some point, y'all are gonna get lots of gray hair, right? But those are good questions. Thank you for asking. I know they're very thoughtful questions, but the ones that need to be answered. I'm just gonna take you one step further in terms of where a situation where, let's give an example that maybe someone is being abused in some sort of way. There is a law in place that all staff members, and they usually end up at the counselor's desk, where they have to report it. And obviously there could be some visible evidence. It could be many things. And so in my mind, that's where it helps us to facilitate that process, when we are able to report it to the authorities. Because some things we can't handle, right? So thank you. Yeah, and again, when do you sleep? Here's a great example of one of our staff members who is a counselor trying to help those who may need more help than others, but then having in leadership, capacity, helping you all who are, not that you don't get in trouble, but that you're in an exemplary student representation, and you're at another level in terms of leadership development, and he's involved in that as well. I mean, both spectrums, right?
Absolutely. The
Both
whole
spectrums.
child.
Yeah, so
absolutely.
we thank you. We thank you very much. Did I miss anybody? I'm sorry, Mr.
No, that's quite all right.
Okay.
No, go ahead.
No, you're
Okay. Yeah, so thank you for the presentation. Sorry I missed the beginning. I guess my question is along the lines of like the career preparation and the oh gosh, now I lost it. Sorry. Like the career fairs, the career preparation. So slide 6, right? My Future AZ, which I think is like part of like pipeline and the transfer conference that's coming up and all that good stuff. I guess in terms of like the career fairs or exposure to jobs, is there a purposeful focus on those career fairs reflecting academy focus of the school, or is it just like we're reaching out to folks and whoever can come, we're happy to have?
So I'll speak on this because my school was one of the schools that had the career fair this year. So I partnered with Canyon Breeze and we put it on. And honestly, we're kind of new to this. Last year was our first year that we did this. And I know there's been career fairs in the past, but more recently, last year was our first year. And really, it is difficult to get a lot of people to come. So we do try. I went into my 8th grade classrooms and we were signing up for My Future AZ, and I kind of took some time to say, hey, we're having a career fair coming up. Is there any particular careers that you guys would be really interested in seeing? And I know one of them was a hairstylist or a cosmetologist. So I personally went to the cosmetology school that's right by Rio Vista and said, like, we really want this career represented. And unfortunately, they weren't able to come, but we are trying to get from the kids and make sure that we have. But then there's also, who is able to come, and we want to have them represented as well.
And so thank you for that. And then so a couple of follow-ups maybe, or if I can remember the other question. I guess that just piques my interest, and I know not all of our students go to Tolleson high schools, right? Some of them choose to go elsewhere. So I guess, like, as we reach out to industry partners for career fairs, and I don't know enough about Tolleson CTE programs, but if there is a cosmetology program in Tolleson, like, if we can't get a cosmetologist to come, like, are we reaching out, especially for 8th graders, 7th and 8th graders, to say, hey, if you're interested in cosmetology, X high school has that program for you.
Yeah.
It's actually really interesting. We actually had a meeting today discussing and brainstorming about how we can utilize some of the resources in the area. West MEC, which is a district within a district type deal, they have a lot of those CTE careers that you mentioned that they hyper focus on, And so one of the ideas we came up with was setting up a career fair and asking potentially some of our former students who are attending school in the Tolleson School District, taking advantage of the West MEC programs, having them come back and present, which, I like the idea there, because there's that peer piece right there, that these kids aren't too far, like some of our students might remember those kiddos from when they were attending school at Via de Paz or Rio Vista or wherever, so we're brainstorming, kind of massaging that idea.
Yeah. No, and I appreciate that, and just from my own personal experience, right, as a junior high teacher, our partner, and I'm not saying this happens here, but, partner district comes in, here's your packet, hey, we have these classes, take it home, ask your folks, bring it back, but that's like, I don't even know what these classes are, right? And I know I've taken English, I know I've taken math, and then, I don't know, this sounds kind of cool.
Right.
And then maybe there's room, maybe there's not, so I just appreciate that thinking and that brainstorming, because it's a broken record, but it's like, the student that I had that said, hey, I want to be a doctor, but I hate blood, right? And we have these career fairs of like, there's a zillion careers, right? And same thing with high school options as well. So thank you for that. And then my final question is just about the quick tip line or app or whatever. Clearly, I don't know enough about it. But like, I assume that's being used, like, where does that go, and how is that triaged?
Madam President, Mr. White, so the quick trip notes that come in actually go to Mr. Alvarez, and he starts directing traffic.
Okay. Thank you.
As does the inquiries email. So anything that we receive that we're not sure, but it could really be quite important to folks, he tends to direct that traffic. And then obviously, because our counselors are the trusted adult for so many students, they actually receive quite a few of those messages directly.
Thank you. That's all I have.
Mr. Casal.
Thank you, Madam President. I guess first, I guess this is kind of following up on Ms. Saren's question, but probably to Dr. Cruz, but where are we with those two positions because I know that those are two schools that they're large schools and they've got some vulnerable populations there. And so where are we in terms of filling those roles or those spots?
Madam President, Senator Quesada, actually, I think that Dr. Brown would probably know best about where we are in terms of staffing, although because we're so late in the year, we only have 1 quarter left, it's not very realistic that we would be able to bring someone on for this school year, but certainly those positions have been posted, and we're hopeful that we are going to bring someone on board for the upcoming year. Dr. Brown, I don't know if you have anything to add.
And Dr. Brown, I kind of follow up. I don't know, like, are those positions hard to fill? Is it hard to find good counselors like the ones we have?
A great counselor is absolutely hard to find, Mr. Quesada. And we are serious about making sure that only the best are the ones who are those trusted adults for our students. And so we've been actively interviewing. I know at least one of those positions. The school is very encouraged by the applicant, or at least an applicant. So I'm hoping to bring forth some candidates that HR will be able to work through the process with us for. But both positions remain posted. We're promoting them everywhere, and schools are actively interviewing.
Awesome. Thank you, Dr. Cruz. Thank you, Dr. Brown. I appreciate that. Oh, yeah, Ms. Tassi.
Just a quick note. Thank you to all of these counselors because they do an awesome job. They do all day long, every day, 7 days a week, I think. It's one of the things that you all have just approved. They are on the difficult to fill for another $2,000 stipend that they will all be receiving, and hopefully that will help us recruit because the pool has been, so that might be something we'll have more discussion about and try to broaden that pool.
Awesome. Thank you. I appreciate that. And I guess just one last question for our counselors and our team. But like I know, like I've worked in jobs where there's not a lot of emotional investment at all, and others where there's just a ton. And yours is more than a ton. Like your whole job is emotional investment. And so I guess like my comment is like you're dealing with everybody kind of in some of their worst days. But that's what you deal with all day long. So every day is like a combination of everyone's worst day for you. And so I guess one, like, how do you all handle that? And because I got just mad respect that you're able to do that, because I honestly don't think I could. And so, however you handle that, like, take care of yourselves, because we appreciate that. And then my question is, like, what do you need from us? Like, what I know we've always tried to be supportive of our counselors as a board and as a district. And I think I've always said we're really good about supporting our counselors, but I don't know if I'm just saying that anymore or if there's no more we need to do, you know? And so I want to make sure that when I say that, it's accurate. And so that's my question.
Well, I think you guys have done so much and continue to push us to be the best that we can be, and sending us to our professional developments, and supporting counselors being counselors on campus, and being able to fulfill those roles for students. I would say, we look at our numbers and we look at our each school, and I want to be able to, sit down with every one of my kindergartners and every one of my 8th graders coming in and, heading out. I want to be able to teach, each grade level lesson, once a week, type thing. It's just very difficult with numbers. So, I mean, we make do, and we do our best to support all of our students, but I think more warm bodies would really help to support all of our students. Yeah. But with what we have in place right now in the school district and the support that we have within our teams, like, you should see some of our email threads and the resources that we exchange and that we share with each other, just to better ourselves and everything. So we've created a really good system that works here for Pendergast counselors. Yeah.
Something I was just going to add, the question about how do we take care of ourselves. I think one of the best parts about our district counselors is we are there for each other. And so there's some things at our schools that there's people we can't talk to about the things, and people don't understand exactly because we're kind of like on our island. But it's really cool that I could call up Akeen or call up another counselor from another school, and I know that there's going to be somebody there with advice. I mean, my first couple of years, I really leaned on my mentors in the district to work through those things. And sometimes you just need to say, hey, this is how I think I should deal with this situation, but can you just, reassure that I'm doing the right thing? And it's really great.
One of the most reassuring things, I'll tell a very quick story. So, with some of my, friends, one of actually the Pendergast counselors was with us that day too. We went to dinner at the Wigwam, right? And so we were enjoying dinner at Wigwam. And I'm sitting there, chatting it up with our friends, and a waitress comes over and says, "I don't know if you remember me, Mr. A." I said, "What's going on here?" And she told me, she said that, she told me her name. I was like, "Oh, I remember you." She said, I knew I was a challenge when I was in school, but oh gosh, you guys are gonna make me choke up. But your words, they stuck, and I'm currently a student at ASU in the nursing program while I'm working at Wigwam. Yeah, so it was pretty awesome. Pretty cool experience. And my other Pendergast counselor there's like, "Oh my gosh, just know everybody, don't you?" Gave me a hard time, but those are the fulfilling times, and that's how we keep coming back, and we keep feeling fulfilled in our work and everything.
Awesome. Thank you, Akeem. Thank you, Amber. Appreciate it.
Thank you, guys.
And keep up with that, find that golden egg that keeps you going, because at the end of the day, you are not a counselor for the money we pay you. You're just not. That's reality, right? Yeah. But you're there because from a humane perspective, you believe you can make a difference for individuals, and not just the children, but those around them, because you are impacting them as well. So think about that every time you're beginning to feel a little stressed. Think about that, because you all have that story. I'm more than one story where you've made that difference. You just were doing your job, but you made a difference.
Thank you.
And Dr. Cruz, I know money's tight, but I do appreciate that you allow them to attend those counseling conferences, because for me, it does two things. Now, beyond the professional development, beyond that, number one, you physically get away from your environment so that you can bond in a more social environment that we all need, right?
Absolutely.
But you also feel valued because it does cost to go there. But the other is that, being away, the physical being away, you are able to begin to talk about things that maybe you don't have time to talk about while you're at work. It's just not enough time in the day. So thank you for doing that for them. And for a public that's listening to us, school counselors are paid through M&O, budget overrides. We all need to remember that. I don't know what we'd do without you. And we need to thank our community because of that. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you,
Thank you, Dr. Brown, for your leadership. And thank you for your presentation. It was very good. Okay, so now we will move on to our policy review that we've been doing for, I don't know, how long has it been? 6 months now? It is important work, and so this is the first reading, right? Yep. And so do we have any questions? Let me read it because I have to be official with this. Tonight we have the reading of Part 7 of the Complete Policy Review. The Pendergast Cabinet team has been working with ASBA since October 2022 to do a complete review of the policy manual. The policies have been broken up into 8 sections for board review and possible approval at the upcoming board meetings. Tonight, the board will have a first reading for information only on the policy manual sections for JJIB-JJRR-R. Second reading and possible approval will be on March 5th. Is there any discussion or questions from the board? Yes, Mr. White.
Thank you, Madam President. First of all, I appreciate the removal of excessive absenteeism from the discipline section. As a K-8, I don't know how much our students have control over showing up, right? Especially, a kindergartner. So I just appreciate that. I am assuming that hasn't happened in the past, but I know that our policy manual is a reflection of where we can make changes for our values, so I appreciate that. I know that folks are probably are just exhausted from reading through the manual. I've just read this section a couple of times and didn't have to make any edits. But I did catch. I meant like physically making the edits, like me making the edits. That's the great thing about these things. I get to say things and other people do the work, as opposed to my day job. Anyway, but pages 30. I'll speak slowly. It's pages 38. 40 and 53 refer to homeless students rather than students experiencing homelessness, and just for that language, and then also to align to previous sections. So I know it was caught in previous sections, and I know that's, hey, lots of I's and lots of whatever, and so 38, 40, and 53.
Thank you. That's from your grading experience, right?
Sometimes you gotta start at the bottom and work up.
All those years as a teacher. Yep. Okay. So any other comments or questions in regards to?
I had a few.
Yes, Senator Quesada.
Yeah, thank you, Madam President. And I have kind of a lot, but I don't think any of them are major. I did speak with Dr. Cruz about one of them earlier today, and so I was wondering if and I'm going to just ask the question, because I know we spoke about this, you and I, but I'm going to ask the question, and I don't know if there's an answer yet or what, but on page 5, and that's policy JJIB-R, I was wondering if we needed to have that second set of blue language in there regarding the cause of action. Does that need to be in there?
Madam President, Senator Quesada, after reviewing the statute, it doesn't appear that we actually need to have that in there. In fact, Dr. Brown's thought was that we could potentially include that language in the student handbook. This is actually our regulation related to the policy. This isn't the policy itself.
Okay.
So we believe that we can reference the student handbook here, and then students can, again, access, their opportunities for recourse in the student handbook, the same way they have that information for recourse regarding Title IX and other areas of concern.
Right, and just so everyone's kind of clear, like with the board, what that is, it's in regards to interscholastic sports, and we included language that described how, basically the statutory reference for how to sue the district if we violated that. And so, I mean, that's great. I mean, but that's in statute. I mean, if they really want that, they can find it. I don't think we need to advertise that to them. Not that we intend to violate that, but I think everything we're doing in terms of interscholastic sports right now is right, and we're doing it the right way. And so I just didn't think we needed a reference in there to that. Let me see. Going to, on page 12, policy JK-R, and this is existing language, so I don't know if that's even really appropriate for this conversation right now, because we're talking about the changes. But I mean, we've got that paragraph A that has, and this kind of goes back to our earlier conversation about discipline. But we have that paragraph A that has all those different reasons why students could receive discipline, and I was wondering if we have records on like each of those reasons. If those are the reasons that we discipline kids, like do we have numbers for like how often we discipline kids for paragraph A2, which is making unreasonable noise, because that could be, like that. If we see some numbers on that, like that could tell a story in and of itself about what types of policies we need to revise in that sense.
Madam President, Senator Quesada, part of the challenge here is that each teacher or instructor has some purview over that learning environment. And so what I think might be making unreasonable noise might be very different than what another teacher, or even perhaps at a different time, right? So at one time, you know, noises, whatever it is you're doing, might be found disruptive. And another time it's perfect, like spot on. Right. What Dr. Johnson was referencing in terms of the district matrices was about minor infractions versus major infractions. Right. So certainly there are things that are in this regulation that would be considered minor infractions, but they could potentially lead towards student discipline if someone's being like intentionally disruptive, for instance, repeatedly with the sound that you're making. It almost sounds unreasonable, right? Like, who cares if the kid is playing drums on their desk? Well, you might care deeply if it's the 27th time and you've tried all these different strategies, right? So, you know, some of this is actually contextual in nature, but Dr. Johnson and his team have been looking at minor infractions and the difference between those and the major infractions that would then result in a disciplinary referral to the office.
Can I ask you a clarifying question for you?
Please.
Yes.
Thank you. Just to clarify, I hate to interrupt, I'm sorry, but just a clarifying question. So like, and I feel like everybody knows I love definitions, but like disciplinary action sounds
awful,
punitive and awful, right? But there are degrees of that disciplinary action, include like go to a buddy classroom, right? Or like, or if it's the 50th time, like go to the office. So I don't know if that's the question. It's like disciplinary action does sound awful, but there are degrees of that disciplinary action.
Well, and Madam President, Mr. White, you know, thank you for that, because the intention, again, if we go back, is to teach the students more pro-social behaviors. So disciplinary action means that we're going to take action to teach the student the pro-social behavior. So it could just be maybe the student was unaware they were making those noises, or maybe they just need a different strategy for if they're feeling anxiety in the classroom. So that's kind of the challenge with this framework, is that we're kind of potentially using our own baggage and context for what it meant to be disciplined, and we are being purposeful and trying to move towards a more instruction and be focused on pro-social practices within disciplinary action.
We need to take it back to what Dr. Brown said. What is the original word that, you know, what it means? Yeah. Discipline is disciplina, you know, which is curriculum. So, but we've made it negative. I too had asked that question of Dr. Cruz, and you know, there's pros and cons to everything. At the end of the day, we want to do what's best for our community, right? And so, in my mind, when you go ahead and tell through your regulation that there is a handbook that has much more information, you are at least taking them to the path to be able to get information and what to do. But there's also other paths, because if a parent has a complaint or is unhappy with what we've done, then there is a process to go to, you know, the teacher, the principal, to the district office. I mean, there is a protocol in place. And so I'm feeling better after our discussion that that we are in a good place. And the reason I was just kind of cautious over this is that I think about like the EEO statutes and laws, right? There are some people that didn't realize in the beginning that there was an opportunity for them to take their concerns about how maybe they were being treated or not hired or whatever, promoted, whatever the case may be. And so it's almost an awareness campaign that you're doing for your employees or your community. And it really does help those who are responsible for this to have some accountability when they know it's in a regulation and so forth. And so there's a fine line here, and I'm good with just referring them to the handbook. So, anything else?
Yeah, Madam President, just a couple more. In policy JKE, which is expulsion of students, one is just a technical change, but I think we can remove references to charter school. It's kind of like, I don't think we need to advertise that there's charter schools out there too in our own policies. And then I was wondering on page 31, we're deleting language that gives the board the opportunity to decide whether to use a hearing officer or have the board conduct those hearings. And so I guess my question is, why are we, I mean, obviously I know that we're 99.9% of the time we're going to give it to the hearing officer, but why are we taking away that decision from the board?
Madam President, Senator Quesada, well, you are a quorum of the board, so actually you'd be deciding for yourselves if you wanted to, basically give that work, that job, to a hearing officer, or if you would prefer to hear them in quorum yourself. So this is actually kind of that decision point that y'all would be making about how you want to handle these moving forward. It's pretty typical that a hearing officer would hear those kinds of issues and then make that decision on behalf of the board, because you obviously do appoint that person to make those decisions in some other circumstances and cases that come up.
And Dr. Cruz, Madam President, Dr. Cruz, yeah, I mean, I get that. And so like that, I see how, and maybe this is just my kind of lawyer brain working overtime, but I see how that we're making that decision now. But like, because the way I read the statute, I interpreted it as for every situation, the board had to make that for each student, like and not, and so that may be a misreading on my part, I don't know. And so, like my assumption would be that each time that came up, we would go into an executive, or maybe do it here, I don't know how that would work, and we would just kind of like maybe rubber stamp that, like we're gonna give it to a hearing officer. But for each student, we would need to make that decision. And so I don't know, I could be just misreading that. But
No, Madam President, Senator Quesada, I have driven past law schools. So certainly your expertise in this arena far exceeds mine. I'm certainly happy, though, to reach out to the legal counsel that we've used in the past for some of our student disciplinary issues, to kind of hear from them whether or not they're seeing boards function in terms of every time an incident arises, then the governing board decides at that point in time who's going to hear that, or if it's something that's typically set in policy. My understanding, just from running a school district perception, not from a legal stance, was that typically the boards make a decision about whether or not they want to, delegate that authority to a hearing officer or not. So just as a function of working. But again, I'm happy to reach out to the counsel that we've used in the past for student disciplinary issues.
right, and I guess just kind of a follow-up on that. I mean, I'm comfortable with us making that decision once a year. I'm just saying every beginning of every year, but I still think that should probably still be in the policy, though. You know what I mean? Yes. Because I think if you take it out, then it's like it's just by default always. It's always going to go to a hearing officer, and we would. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, absolutely. So, Madam President, Senator Quesada, that's certainly some, direction that the board can give us. Again, it truly is a matter of how the board wants us to work.
Is that it?
No, go ahead.
Yeah, because it's still on this subject. My thought there is that when we're at the level of suspension, expulsion, it's very convoluted. And in my mind, I want someone who has that expertise, that does this for a living, to at least provide us with their expertise, right?
Definitely.
And then at the end, we make that decision. But I also believe we need to have the flexibility that there may be one case where we absolutely need to be the one, and so we need to give ourselves that opportunity to do that, versus the other extreme, which is every time we have a case that we're going to make a decision. Then to me, that's dangerous, because then you can create some inconsistencies.
Right.
Maybe it's me, but I'm really missing the point of this conversation. I really am, I'm sorry. And here's why I say this, and I'm not being facetious, is that we have a governing board policy, we have administration, we have district office, we have interventions, we have 2 presentations provided today. So there's discretion in every discretionary matter, right? Or there's discretionary matter in every discretion. based on what Hilda just said, Mr. Ortega Gonzalez, is that when it percolates to expulsion, suspension, that's really our responsibility. Where, and I know, Member Casada, Mr. Casada, you're not saying otherwise. I'm just real careful that we not navigate into the operations of the daily functions.
Yeah.
And that's just me talking as a practitioner, because it's the administration that runs the campus. And please, it's not a lecture. You know where I'm going to go with it. It's us that executes policies and provides support to the superintendent. It's district office. It's assistant principals, intervention programming that supports our students. And I don't want to get to the point, and please, Martin, I love and respect you, my friend. So this is not saying you're wrong. I'm just kind of sitting here saying, I hope we're not overthinking this, and I know you're not misinterpreting that. I just want to be able to provide that support, because when it does get convoluted, and it has a couple times, and quite frankly, without getting into specifics, it's not easy at times, but that's been, I think, 2 or 3 times it's happened.
Yeah.
So I don't want to, but go ahead. Yeah.
And Madam President, Mr. Arenas, I agree 100%, and I hope it didn't come across that was my intention.
No, it didn't.
That I want to kind of meddle in that process, because I don't. What I do want to do is just make sure that we're abiding by that statute. And I wasn't clear that we were. Right.
We don't want to manufacture our own crisis.
Right.
And be consistently inconsistent.
Right.
With school A, B, C, right? So you're right. I see that part.
And then so my last one, Madam President, and Dr. Cruz, and this one isn't so much one that I expect to see a change in now, but I guess it's kind of a larger conversation, because I know this had come up before, but I didn't see anything in the policy at all about representation, like legal representation for the board separate from legal representation for the district in those proceedings as well. And I know that we've had those, I think we had a conversation in one of our instances in the past about that. And I'll be honest, I don't know what the answer is to that, or if that's something we should even dive into, but I'm curious about that, because I know, and so everyone understands, like when we have like an expulsion hearing for a student, the parent, they're more than welcome to be represented by counsel. The district has a counsel as well, and what often happens is the district council also represents the governing board. But if you think of that, because that's one of the rare times when we are serving in a judicial role in that sense. Mm-hmm. We as a board are the judge, and it's the administration that's the prosecutor, and then the student they're the defendant, right? So that's very oversimplification of that process. But I never felt comfortable with the judge and the prosecutor having the same lawyer.
Yeah, so Madam President, Senator Quesada, right. So what we had previously done in a circumstance was actually separate that counsel out. Right. And we had actually worked with a few different lawyers to get their opinion about that matter. So you are absolutely correct that if the school district is going to have counsel, that would be the governing board would have their counsel. And then potentially if school administration, right, so if you go back to the prosecutor, if we believe that we need to have counsel, that would be separate.
Right.
So you're absolutely right. And in fact, what we had done in one circumstance is that, in fact, the attorney that I was going to consult regarding this other matter is not even a member of the same firm. So when we did that previously, we made sure that legal counsel came from different firms so that there wouldn't be any conflict of interest between lawyers either. So I was making the assumption that that is the appropriate way forward in these circumstances, and so that's how we would proceed just by function. Because you're right, we cannot be represented by the same legal counsel when the governing board is working in this space.
And Dr. Cruz, the reason why I bring that up is because I wonder if that's something that should go into policy. Because my conversations with other districts, other boards, is they don't do this practice that we have started to do because of that conversation we had. But I do think that's very appropriate. And I personally, I don't know if the rest of the board agrees, but I would like to institutionalize that. Because and not even so much for us, because I feel comfortable. I trust our administration when they're bringing these cases forward to us. I trust that it's for a good reason. And But I think it's more so even for that student and their family. Like, they need to see that this is a fair process too. And if we're sharing the same lawyer, I wouldn't feel fair if I was coming before that. You know,
Good point.
I think that's all I have, Madam President.
Yeah, no, Martine, I think you're exactly right. And we had that discussion, and that's why we had gone out, I think, the last couple times, you know, and had gotten, you know, a different law firm. So I'm with you. If you know, would that be something we should put in policy? And then it's there. And, you know, it's a safeguard, and as you say, you know, we're helping the whole process too, that there's no conflict.
The only other thought I would have, and I don't have the answer to it, but the whole piece about having the board council and the district council being from different law firms and so forth, that to me is more a regulation piece. I think the only thing that needs to be in policy is that we, number one, are not going to be, we're going to be hiring someone to do the hearing for us unless there's some extenuating circumstance. I don't know what the wording would be. But the other is more on a regulation perspective. Right?
Fair, yeah.
Okay, anything else? This is great discussion. Okay, so this is a first reading. And so March 5th, which is our next board meeting, is where we will then take up whether this will be approved or not. Another one to be completed, right? Okay. Any other items, future board agenda items that you would like to? You had your hand up earlier. Did I miss you?
No, I'm good.
Okay. I'm sorry.
I do have a future item.
Okay.
Because why not? Because I guess just as a, you know, I asked last meeting, 2 meetings ago, you know, after we went to VDP, and Mr. Neville had the goggles out for what the school is going to look like. I know that transfer goggles were mentioned, or the transfer program equipment, whatever you want to call it, was mentioned tonight, and so I don't know if that can be a combination as well. I know that I found it fascinating. You know, I changed a car's oil while standing still with those on, and so again, I don't know how interesting it would be in a board meeting, maybe more appropriate for a retreat, because I don't know if everybody on Facebook wants to look at us bumbling through virtual reality.
Madam President, Mr. White, also, we do not share the layouts or the 3D renderings of our buildings with the general public as a matter of student and staff safety. We are more than happy to have you all have that experience because you are part of our Pendergast community. So that's not a problem. And I actually think the general public might enjoy wanting you all wander around in the room and sort of like, right, playing charades. It's not a problem at all. What we'll do is we'll talk with folks and figure out what's going to make the most sense.
Thank you. Any other items? Okay. So let's go ahead and call for a motion to adjourn the meeting. Anyone?
So moved.
Mr. Arenas, thank you.
I'll second.
A second. Roll call.
Chet White?
Yes.
Jose Arenas?
Yes.
Martin Quezada?
Yes.
Susan Sarin?
Yes.
And Hilda Ortega Rosales?
Yes.
There being 5 in favor, the motion carries.
Thank you. And before everybody leaves, we have a nice little recognition for Miss Sarin. It was her birthday last week. And so we have a little treat for you. And if you can join me in singing happy birthday. 1, 2, 3.
Happy birthday
to you.
Happy
Birthday to you. Happy birthday, Mrs. Sarin. Happy birthday to you.
And many more.
Happy birthday, Miss Sarin.
Thank you, and please
partake of the cupcakes.
Yes, I don't want any.